Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of When Bad Things Happen to Good People, or in our case, When Bad Times Happen to Good People. My gosh, we go from like a pandemic to a war. I feel like we're back in 1917 or 16 when we went from a war to a pandemic. Now we're just doing it the other way around. What?
Yeah, but the war's not here. I mean,
no,
the war's somewhere else.
Yeah,
no
war,
kidding.
the war then wasn't here either. I mean,
that's true. Although
here.
It was later for many of our
doughboys did go over, though,
yeah.
and brought back a flu virus with them. So
yeah, lovely.
So, so we're going to talk a little bit about that today because it is the, I can't really call it the elephant in the room. I'd say it's the giant Russian bear in the room.
Yeah. Let's keep that bear away.
Yeah. So what's it doing to things? Well, a lot of things. If you've looked at your portfolio, contrary to our advice, you're probably not particularly pleased if you're in the stock market. Now, if you're in the bond market, you're probably a little bit happier than you were last week when people yelled at us because bonds have been going down. We can't win for losing, Thomas.
Well, that's the nature of this business, my friend. Yeah. It is.
Yeah. So what should you do? What should you do? You can pretty much, just pretty much forget about those Russian ETFs in your portfolio. They're toast. Their history. They're pretty much done for. They're worth pennies on the dollar. I think there's a great lesson there. The lesson is don't just invest in one country. And we're going to talk a lot about this throughout the program. And you're invited to join us if you've got questions about what's going on overseas, what's going on with your portfolio, what you should be doing now, what you should be doing in the future, what you should have done in the past. Give us a call at 855-935-8255.
And people, yes, they're looking at their portfolios because they see the headlines. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the hated Dow Jones Industrial Average.
I hate the Dow Jones Industrial Average.
Fourth week of losses in a row, that is, fourth week. And it was a tough week for international stocks, which had actually been holding up quite well. As you mentioned, if you had specific exchange-traded funds to Russia, trading is shut down. Looks like those funds are going to liquidate, send investors back whatever cash. They're not going to wait.
Yeah, but how are they going to liquidate if they can't sell the stocks?
I don't know. They'll find a market somewhere. They're apparently not going to just wait for things to come back or wait for trading to happen again. So, and then there's all kinds of, on top of the Russian ruble, another 6% decline this week. I mean, it's kind of shocking how much the ruble's come down. And you mentioned the good news in all of this. For those of you who hold...
For what it's worth.
I know, well, it's not much, but we'll take it. For those of you who hold those things called bonds or fixed income, you actually had a pretty good week. Remember, a week ago, the intermediate term bond was down about 3.5%. And after this week's nice little punch up, it's only down 1.6. I know it's still down, but it's only down a little bit. So it's good. But again, still looking at the big picture here, Don. Year to date, I think we're through a couple months, right? A global portfolio of stocks is down not very much, 5.6%, while the S&P 500 is down 8.9%.
Over what period? Over what period?
This is so far this year. So 2 weeks, 2 months rather, and most of 1 week. So come on, really, it's not that bad. It sounds bad. 4 weeks in a row, the Russia thing, all that, but it really has not been, in terms of actual numbers, that big of a deal as yet.
But we don't know the future. And we'll never know the future, nor will you. And that's really the truth of this whole thing. Now, I ran some numbers so you don't have to. I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I got in recently, or I got in, like last year, and the market was way up, and now I'm way down. Should I get out and wait for better times? Well, let's go back in time. Take a little trip back in time. Get in our little Talking Real Money time machine. And we're going to go back to a day that will live in infamy among investors. September 8th, 2007. That was when the U.S. market peaked for a long period of time. It went down from there until the end of February 2009. Pretty steadily.
Sounds like a year and a half.
As a matter of fact, even a globally diversified portfolio like the Vanguard Total World Stock Index went from $100,000 to $54,000 in just that short period of time. Now, what if you'd invested $100,000 on 9/8/2007 and you just waited? What would have happened? You'll find out in just a few moments.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
So, back in the day, oh, by the way, our phone number is 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Let's go back in time again to 2007, September of 2007, which is where the market peaked. You, being the most unlucky person on the planet, put $100,000 into a globally diversified portfolio of stocks back then in September of 2007. Now, by 2009, early 2009, your $100,000 had plunged to just over $50,000. Ooh, you're not feeling good at all, are you?
No, that's tough.
Yeah. So what would most people do in a scenario like that? What did most people do? We know what they did.
Yeah, we know people give up.
They sold.
Sell.
They said, that's it. I'm done with stocks. I can't stand it. I have reached my pain threshold. And this is why we suggest building portfolios that are not all stocks. However, you stuck it out. You either weren't paying attention, maybe you were in a coma, you were just steadfast, and you knew if you gave it time, you were smart, you'd eventually be right. And by the way, that made you actually pretty smart, because if you hung in there until March of 2022, you never put another dollar in, never put a penny in, never took a penny out, reinvested your dividends, you would have had about $270,000.
So
even after a loss,
your 100,000 went down to
50 something, yeah,
and then back up
to 270 in just about 14 years. You would have hit a break even if you just hung in there at about 4 years. About 4 years. Now that I know that's not pain free, but if you have a time horizon of greater than 5 years and you reinvest dividends and you just hang in there, even the spurious lie that is you would have lost money for 40 years during the Depression or whatever the garbage is. That's not true. If you'd reinvested dividends, Mark Hulbert ran the numbers, and it was about 5 years. If you'd kept investing, that you would have made money. What if you kept investing, though? What if you put that $100,000 in at the peak of the market, but you said, I'm going to put $1,000 a month in through my retirement plan at work, through my 401, my IRAs or whatever, my regular accounts. You put $1,000
$12,000 a year.
$12,000 a year. $1,000 a month.
Okay.
$12,000 a year over that entire time. You're buying low, and you're buying a little higher. So
sure. Yeah.
But you bought high already.
So you put in the 100,000.
Right. You got 100,000. You left that alone. You put 1,000 more in. Buy today, even with all the stuff we've had happen in 2022. You're 250,000 roughly.
Yeah, because you got to take the 12 years times the 12 plus the 100. Sure,
would be worth about 600 and just under 620.
Yeah,
this is the
that tells you
story
everything.
We're trying to tell you.
I know that
we
tells
can
you everything.
By the way, go home now.
There's two parts to that.
Well, I guess we are both home now, aren't we?
That's a good
Never
point.
mind. We'll just stay home with you.
There's two parts. I mean, to me, the number one is diversification, right? Because if there are periods of time, had you only been in large U.S. stocks or tech stocks or Russian stocks or whatever, you could lose a lot more than that, and you could not come back for a long period of time. Number two is investing is about patience. Truly. Because there are going to be times that are going to test your soul, your money soul about all this. And we know because we talk to you. So you got to be willing to take the ups and downs. You got to be willing to just say, this is not money I need soon. And regularly, Don, today, we're getting calls from people saying, well, yeah, I'm going to invest. I have this lump sum, but should I dollar cost average in, or should I just wait until this all settles down? And I'm thinking, I told somebody on Friday, I wish I had cash right now. I would be a buyer.
I would be buying.
I'd be a buyer because there's all kinds of things that are on sale that I'd like to, I'm not going to pick and choose, but I'd be putting money into a globally diversified. Well, I am because my 401k, of course, but I like that idea that you buy after it's gone down. So yeah, this is diversification and patience, two key elements.
And for those of you who don't have that strong stomach where you couldn't have stood that 50% decline. Well, I went back and ran the numbers on the Vanguard Balanced Index Fund over that same period, which is 60% U.S. stocks and 40% bonds. If you had just had that, your low point in 2009 would have been about $84,000.
So your 100 went to 84.
Went down $16,000.
Because you got all those bonds in there that are giving you stability.
And here's what's really hysterical is that because it didn't go down as far, you would have actually done better in the 60-40 portfolio with the $1,000 a month being added in than you would have in the stock portfolio.
Where would you be?
About $660,000.
And this is another thing that people overlook. The reason to hold bonds.
This is why.
Not just that, but it's just a diversifier. You own things that are dissimilar, right? Because stocks are totally different than bonds. Bonds are an IOU. Stocks are a hope that a company does well. So I think that's another great lesson, that more diversification, more types of securities has not only stabilized your portfolio, but done better for you in that period of time.
Because remember, you didn't fall as far. You didn't have to recover from a 50% decline. You were only down about 16%. So you didn't have to recover, and you're still putting money in every single month as the market fluctuates, which is the way to do it.
Except the 60-40 doesn't work anymore. We know that.
Oh, yeah, no. It stopped working apparently just now, just today. Just today. It stopped. I don't know why. It's a clock thing. Stop clock.
And by the way, when they tell you the 60-40 doesn't work, why do they tell you that?
The bonds. The bonds part.
But why do they? Because they have a product.
Because they're trying. Yeah,
they got something else you're going to run you into that's going to be far better. And by the way, guess what? It'll make them far more money.
Yeah. That's the way it works. You know, it was funny. Funny you mentioned the folks selling complexity. So I read somewhere a mention of the explainer scene in The Big Short, where they explained what happened to cause the big market crash. I went back and looked at that, and that bears rewatching. That may have been one of the most brilliant pieces of movie making, because anybody would totally get what they did by listening to that. Now there will be a few expletives. Well, I could probably we could share a little of it. I'll do it maybe later. But it's got a few. I got to do some bleeping. I got to bleep. But
it explains it in a method that
pretty much anybody gets. And if we do it on the radio, you can't see Margot Robbie in the bathtub. You can just hear her.
Okay. I'm probably not supposed to at my age anyway. So let's leave it at that.
Who knows what would happen to your heart? So. Here's the lesson that we really need to learn from all this. This is the ultimate lesson. You got to be patient. This too shall pass, and if it really goes the horrible way a few people are imagining it might go, then it's nice knowing you. 855-935-TALK is our number.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
In addition to taking your calls via 855-935-TALK, and you speak into like a telephonic device and we respond on the other end of the line, which you can do right now, by the way, 855-935-TALK. We also take them, for some strange reason, in writing at talkingrealmoney.com on the contact form. And here is one of those questions, and it's, again, from someone who actually does apparently pay attention to the show and the podcast, because you can tell by their greeting. Hello, Tom and Don and Don and Tom.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
This person, they work for the State Department. They're a diplomat.
The U.S. State Department?
Yeah. Well, somebody's
Wow.
State Department, not Russia's.
So this is going to be a very diplomatic kind of question.
Well, no, it was
then.
a diplomatic entrance there.
That's
the
true.
question.
You couldn't get a whole lot more diplomatic than
And then,
that.
of course,
Okay.
the next line is pretty diplomatic because, of course, what do you do? What do you do when you want somebody to answer a question?
Please?
You praise them. You praise them.
Oh,
Love the show.
Oh, that's kind.
Thank you for the valuable information you give all your listeners.
I wonder if they're saying the same thing to a certain person in Eastern Europe, but okay.
My question is, why do most mutual and index funds have minimum investments as opposed to similar ETFs? For example, if you compare the mutual fund VTWAX, VTWAX, to the ETF VT, they are practically identical, but VTWAX has a $3,000 minimum. Is there an advantage with one versus the other? Thanks again for everything. I don't know why I gave that person a hint of a New York accent when they're from Washington. But hey, go ahead.
This is Washington, D.C.
Washington
The other
State.
Washington.
State. No.
Well, they're from Washington State or Washington, D.C.?
No, state. The state of Washington.
So, okay, all right, leaving it. Okay, great.
Just
So
leave it.
here's
It's
the question:
best
is
to leave
why
it. Just let it alone.
why do mutual funds have a minimum when exchange-traded funds? The only minimum is the dollar amount you need to buy one share. That's the question. Okay, so that's
the question that you need to answer.
Okay.
Do you have an answer for it?
The difference? No, I don't.
I didn't think you did. You look like you were bluffing.
I was trying to stall it out to the bottom of the hour.
I know why.
Okay, please.
Because when you buy an ETF, all of the paperwork, record keeping, transaction notifications, all of that stuff fall on your brokerage house. When you have an account with Vanguard, they have to generate all of that in-house, and there's a cost to that. And it's like an investment advisor who has a minimum investment. We would love to help everybody. We would love to have a $0 minimum. But if we had you had $100 with us and you're paying us 90 cents a year, or $1 a year, it doesn't make economic sense. We can't even pay for like 10 seconds of an advisor's work at that. That's the problem. They can't pay for all the things that they have to do and make it cost effective.
And why are exchange-traded funds cheaper?
Because exchange-traded funds don't have to send you statements.
Oh, okay.
They don't
Got
have,
it.
They don't have all of this stuff they have to mail and print
paper.
and create.
Oh, okay.
Because all of that's done by Schwab or TD Ameritrade or whomever.
Got it.
That's the
Makes
why.
sense.
That's the why.
Okay.
That's the why and the
Interesting.
wherefore.
And by the way, I mean, we've said this before, so we may as well just say it again right here. For the most part now, it really makes sense to own exchange-traded funds if there's that option with the mutual fund you want, because lower cost generally, better tax efficiency.
Now, I am going to anticipate the next question someone's going to ask. Well, then how do the brokerage firms make money selling ETFs when they do it without commission? The spread.
Yeah.
Watch The Big Short introduction. A couple of pennies here and a couple of pennies there, and pretty soon you have billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's all about squeezing this little tiny bit out, and
And they really make money, by the way, if you leave a lot of cash sitting around.
They
because
love your
they
cash.
pay you almost nothing on that. And guess what they do with it? They invest it.
They either invest it or lend it out at 22% on a credit card.
Yeah, they're making real money on that. So, yeah, good. That's a great question.
It is
So, again, I mean, the bottom line, though, still would be if I was waking up today figuring out what to do with my money, I'd be using exchange-traded funds instead of mutual funds.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I would these days. And it took me a long time to get there. I'll admit it. It took both of us a long time to come over to the mutual fund side of things, or the ETF side of things, because we tend to be overly cautious, and it takes a while to change our ways.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
And we're going to talk real money with you if you call us. We will. We'll talk with you in person if you call us on the phone at 855-935-8255, 855-935-TALK. Is that right?
I think that's the right number. I'm assuming it is. All
right, so we're going to go with that.
To me.
But we also have really wonderful questions, actually, that were sent in. We have like 3 in a row. These are all just in order that were sent into TalkingRealMoney.com, where we're still about 2 weeks behind on questions, but we're catching up. All right, here you go. This is a good one. I hope you know the answer to this one, because I don't know that I do.
Uh-oh. Well, the last one I didn't do very well, so we'll try
that
again
one I
here.
knew, though. I am 53. I have $500,000 in my 401k.
Okay.
It used to be 100% stocks, but Costco changed its rules and put 25% in a retirement option. Now, that sounds to me like maybe an annuity or a QLAC, but I'm not sure. I haven't a clue what to do with it. I wanted to make an appointment with Edward Jones, but my husband wants me to ask you first. Thanks for your help. I know the answer to the second part of the question.
Why don't you take that, and then I'll look, see if I can find anything about the change in the Costco 401k.
I looked. I can't find a thing.
I haven't, and we have a number of clients that work at Costco.
I do know that a lot of firms, just recently, because of the changes to the law, the fiduciary rules, are now starting to put people's money in qualified lifetime annuity contracts, or QLACs. And they're doing it to the tune of about 25%. Now, I can't find anything written about that, but that may be what they're talking about.
Okay, but these are new employees? New employees?
I don't know. No, because she's an old employee. Well, she's 53. I'm not real old. She's much younger than we are. But I honestly, I don't know what Costco's done, but I'm sure we have someone listening who knows what the heck Costco's done.
Yeah.
But as for the second part, do not make an appointment with someone in Edward Jones.
Well, they probably already work with somebody at Jones.
Do you want to get sold something? No, do not. Do not do that.
Number 3, by the way,
call us.
Well, okay, we're happy to do that. And number 3, we offer free advice on the Costco 401k right there at 401411.com.
Although that may be outdated advice now.
I don't think so. Again, because we have a number of people that are our clients that work at Costco, so we're giving them advice on that. So,
wait.
Okay.
She actually doesn't mind having an advisor contact her, so I'm going to forward this to you, Thomas.
Yeah, all right. Give me something to do.
I know you're bored.
Other than the yard.
Okay, I forwarded it to you. Now you can take care of that. You want another question? Oh, yeah, we got time. Let's do this one. This one's short. Oh, come on, forward, you silly thing.
I'm kind of sad, though, that I don't know that I don't know of one place that I know of on a first-hand basis that has added that QLAC. In other words, no one's called me up and said, we got this now. But let's finish the thought.
It's a new thing.
So that's a mandatory thing?
Some are doing it on a mandatory basis to force them into something that's secure.
I see. Okay. So that you pay a certain amount, and that's going to be worth a certain amount.
There may be opt-outs, but I think it's becoming an opt-in kind of thing because the insurance industry has been so darn good at pitching the concept of, well, you need guaranteed income in retirement because people are too stupid to figure it out.
your attitude would be the same as mine around this, that they don't need the product.
Right. They don't need the product. It's going to be a
Okay.
product that it has to be an inferior product. It has to, because you have to have the profits of the insurance company built in.
Sure. Yeah.
So it has to be inferior to you doing it yourself. Now, if you can't do it yourself and you want what you, I hate this word.
You could do the target date fund.
Yeah, but if you want the certainty, the security, the
but you
safety.
just gave a 14-year return with basically a target date fund.
I know.
Come on, it did pretty
But
well
the
for the last
insurance
14
people
years.
have been playing this game that annoys the heck out of me. You buy insurance and it's guaranteed. It's 100% safe. Yeah, no, wait. That's like Enron saying your money with us it's a private company telling you you're 100% safe. It's a private company. Okay, so there's a state insurance pool, but there's still a private company.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
At some point, most investors need professional financial guidance. So get a little bit of free help or a lifetime of affordable 100% fiduciary guidance at vestory.com, vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Money, something you deal with all the time, and we want to help you do better. Do it better. Give us a call at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. You can call that number during the show. We're live on Saturdays from noon to 2 Pacific on Northwest News Radio in Seattle, and also we do podcasts like crazy, so you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 855-935-8255. I'm Don, that's Tom, and we get questions. Hey, if you don't want to call us, other people don't mind asking questions for you. They send them in at TalkingRealMoney.com. Like this woman. I won a new car in 2021.
Congratulations.
A new car! But its delivery was delayed, and I took possession of it in January 2022. I know I'm supposed to include it on my income taxes, my 1040, but for which year? Will I be getting a form in the mail for the exact amount I'm supposed to report? Thanks, yes. You should be getting a 1099.
But it shouldn't be. It'll be for 2022.
It'll be for 2022.
Yeah, you can get it till
because
this year.
you didn't. Right. See, if you had if you had a bonus coming, let's say your company owed you a bonus on December 31st, and they went, "Oh, we forgot to pay it to you. We're going to pay it to you on January 1st." You get taxed in 2022 on that bonus.
Yeah.
The 2022 tax year, which means you don't pay the taxes till 2023. So you get to drive your car tax-free for a year. But you better put some money aside.
Did I finish telling you my new car experience or not?
Did you win a new car too?
No, I didn't win one. I put $1,000 down on one.
Oh, the Rivian.
Then they turned one day, just sent a very unfriendly email about how they were raising the price by 19.5%.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later,
oops.
says, please go look at the email. And if you are in before March 1st, you get the original pricing.
So are you actually going to buy the Rivian sight unseen? Sight unseen.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of weird because my wife and I were looking at electrics, and we looked at every model, and you can't buy an electric car. You just can't walk into a car dealer and buy an electric car.
Nowhere to go.
You can buy them for next October.
Yeah, mine's supposed to be mid-2023, I think, or something.
You know, but it's kind of weird to go, I'm going to buy a car and I don't ever get to drive it.
I know. I agree. It's strange. Yep.
855-935-TALK. We shamed them into calling. Dave's up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, Dave.
Hi there. Okay, can you hear
What's
me okay?
up? Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm with a large brokerage firm that actually does direct consultation with customers here in Seattle. And so I looked at the funds that that I'm involved with, and they're all very, very obscure. They're strange, different houses I've never heard of. They're not the Vanguard. They're not Schwab. They're just
Give me some names.
East Coast.
Give us one name.
Give me a name.
Well, one of them would be John Hancock.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I don't have
Mr. Hancock is not obscure, by the way. Yes, very large signature.
Wrong.
We know him.
Yeah, this is a fun dude.
Yes.
So what
All right,
they're
go ahead,
saying
Tom.
is, gee, if we have good deals with these companies, obviously they charge more. It's not like Vanguard, but because we have these great deals with institutional funds, we can save you money, even though when you look, their fees are more expensive. So what is your take on that narrative? Is that something
I generally refer to that as BS. That's what I kind of call it.
Well, okay, but wait, let's go back. So are you paying the firm a management fee in addition to the mutual funds?
Yes, I am. I'm paying 0.7. No,
yeah.
1%.
1%. And then you're buying John Hancock funds, and it may be that they have some negotiated reduction in expense ratio.
Yeah, they're using John Hancock's institutional funds.
Okay, but even those are still going to be expensive compared to almost anything else.
Right.
So I don't care what deal they have. 1 plus and 50 basis points is expensive.
And why are they using these funds? What's the benefit to you? I'm confused.
They feel that they're able to find the right manager for.
They're actively managed.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, that explains everything. Do you have the actual name of any one of these funds, or the 5-letter symbol, just so I can peek at one of them?
Gosh, I wish I could. Was driving.
Oh, darn it.
No.
Okay. No, that's okay.
One of these days, call us with a symbol on one of them.
Okay, but the narrative
is
important thing to know here. So you're probably paying in total, I'm guessing, 1.5, something in that area. Because Hancock, if you went out to buy them, is going to be more than that. Number 2, what you just said is the antithesis of everything that we can believe about this business. There is no one, fund manager, advisor, soothsayer, anything that can see the future. So therefore you diversify, keep your costs low, and ignore those people because they generally lead you in the wrong direction. Or that's been the track record.
I can almost guarantee, I am 99.999% confident that these funds are going to have substantially higher expense ratios than a comparable index or passive fund from Vanguard or Dimensional Funds or Avantis or any of those guys. And there's no evidence that active managers beat the indexes. And without the numbers, or without the letters, I can't look these up. But I'm pretty confident you'll find that the performance, if compared to the right index, is probably inferior. So I would get these researched. I really would. I think it's a smart idea. It is in your best interest to research their advice. You should always get second opinions every now and again. Thank you so much for the call, Dave. Sue, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi.
Hey, Sue.
I was wondering, and I don't even know if it's the right question, but say you're about 52 and your whole life you've kind of just really lived paycheck to paycheck. Where would be the first start for any kind of beginner to maybe do investing, or what would be the best way to do anything, or is it too late?
No, it's not too late. I mean,
you're young.
Not too late at all. So, and do you have an employer plan? I mean, or this person have an employer plan at work?
I just work at a school, it kind of ends up just being a part-time job. And I started later in life, because I stayed home with my kids.
Sure.
And my husband, county worker, we've got, your retirement, and then he's taken out some on top of the retirement that was, that's a separate investment. But I was kind of just, we've just never.
This would be simple for me. Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay.
If it was me and I was 52 and I had income, I would just open a Roth IRA. You could do it at Vanguard, Schwab, or Fidelity. Own one fund. Can't do one fund at Fidelity or Schwab.
Yeah,
all right, so go to
I
Vanguard.
mean, if you're going to do the one fund, though, make sure you tell her what the worst case scenario is.
Again, the one fund is all stock. Or you could do a target date fund at any of those places, right? But the Roth IRA would be my favorite option there. And no, 52 is not too late at all. I mean, I hate to look back at my life at 52. A lot has changed since age 52. So, no, I think it's a great idea. You can, at your age or at this person's age, you could put up to $7,000 a year into that. It's post-tax. It grows tax-free. And again, our favorite would be either a one-fund globally diversified stock portfolio or a one-fund target date fund, which all of those fund families have available.
Yeah, I think that's where you should get started. And Go take the risk quiz at talkingrealmoney.com to figure out how much risk you're going to be comfortable taking. And thank you so much for the call. We really appreciate it. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. That's 855-935-8255.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Real quickly, I did find the John Hancock Balanced Institutional Fund charges 0.77%, 77 basis points, and has only 64 stocks in it versus 0.7% for Vanguard's Balanced Index, 1/10 the price, and 3,600 stocks in the portfolio.
And this is the reason that you should, I don't care where your money is, you should always get a second opinion. You should always know what you're paying. You should always know how diversified you are. All of those things are absolutely critical because this is your money. Go to Vestory.com. Vestory, and you
can extra letters.
I know, and you can get an appointment there, no charge, no obligation.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.